Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, February 14th, 2023 meeting of the Long Meadow School Committee. School committees and other public bodies may continue to hold remote meetings through March 31st, 2023, under legislation enacted in July of 2022. The statute, Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, extends quorum reductions for remote meetings. All votes while there is remote participation must be made by roll call vote. This meeting is being recorded and aired live on LCTV. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no correspondence to record for this evening, so we will move ahead to approval of minutes.
I move that the school committee approve the minutes to the January 31st, 2023 school committee meeting as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
We don't have anyone at home, correct?
Nope.
No. All right. And yes for me as well. We have one more recommended motion.
I move that the school committee approve the minutes to the February 7th, 2023 school committee meeting as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes for me as well. All right, we will move forward to visitor comments. If there are any visitors who would like to make a comment, now would be the time. I think we have anyone at home, am I correct? Okay. All right, seeing no visitors for comments, we'll move to school committee announcements and recognitions, if anyone has any to share. Mary?
The Center School concert was last night after a few cancellations. They finally were able to hold the concert from some unforeseen circumstances. Jamie and I were both there. It was great. The kids were great, so
Lovely.
just wanted to acknowledge the kids and the teachers who were involved.
Thank you. Any other acknowledgements or recognitions? Yep, Gianna?
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. I just wanted to, I was hearing from my daughter, and then I was also talking to Dagan about the singing telegrams and the Valentine's Day wishes, and I'm sure, so we know, love and kindness was going on at the high school. I'm sure it was going on at the middle and elementary schools as well. So I just wanted to thank people who live with, love and kindness in their heart. Also at my school, we use Valentine's Day as Friendship Day, and we also celebrate diversity. So it's fun. I get to go into the classrooms, and my lessons are all about diversity and the celebration of differences. So I wanted to thank people who live with acceptance of diversity and celebration of that as well. Thank you, Nicole.
Wonderful. Any other? All right, moving ahead, we have no business with guests, and we'll move into school committee chair report. I don't have much other than to just say thank you to our administrative team and our finance subcommittee for the work that they have put in over the last few weeks on the budget. It has been, I know, a unique year with some heavy lifting, and we appreciate and acknowledge that time that you've spent there, and looking forward to a couple of other dates just to let people know what comes next. Is that the select board will be looking at the budget on March 6th, dependent on what our discussion and vote and how that goes tonight. And then there is also the town meeting on May 9th. So we have some upcoming dates that are important for folks to be aware of. And then also just a thank you to all of the musicians and music department over at Long Meadow High School for last week's Vocal Pops concert and for tomorrow night's Instrumental Pops. So thank you for all the work that goes into those events. We'll turn over to the superintendent's report. Dr. O'Shea?
A couple items. We have, I was going to mention the Instrumental Pops concert tomorrow night at the high school, so that should be great. Thursday night.
Thursday.
Thursday
No,
night.
you have someone you have a child in orchestra, so you know better
Yeah,
than I would.
99%. It is tomorrow night.
Okay, tomorrow night.
Yes.
All right.
You made me scared there for a minute.
That's right there.
No, I have it on my calendar for tomorrow.
We seem to be a day ahead on a few things. We had the pleasure to announce the winners of the Grinspoon Excellence in Teaching Award program this year, and so we had a bunch of deserving applicants and made some difficult decisions, but the three who were chosen by a team of educators and administrators were Leanne Barr, social studies teacher at Glenbrook, Arlene McLean, a 4th grade teacher at Center School, and Colleen Cummings, a 5th grade teacher at Center School. And so we did the prize patrol last week and had a ton of fun with all the students who were incredibly excited for their teachers, especially at Center School. They were bananas. So it was fun, and congratulations to Leanne, Arlene, and Colleen. On another note, we'll talk about this further probably with the committee, but I just wanted to sort of start the conversation. We obviously will have a disjointed end of the year, given that we've had 2 cancellations of school at Glenbrook and 1 cancellation day at Center School. So right now, the other 4 schools, barring snow days, would conclude their year on Monday, June 12th. But it's likely that Center School will need to add 1 additional day to its calendar, and Glenbrook will need to add 2 additional days to its calendar. We did reach out to DESE to see if there was any waiver opportunity, or to see if we could sort of incrementally make up the lost time. And while there is a process to request a waiver, I'm doubtful that it will go anywhere for us. So more likely than not, we will be looking to add days to the Center School calendar and the Glenbrook calendar. More information to follow on exactly how and when we'll pull that off. So.
Great. I'll take a question. Yep,
Yeah,
Jim.
just, I had a few people say that they're having problems getting in on this. The link is not working. Save you some breath. That's why I was looking.
No, thank you.
So I don't know if it is, like, do we have others on? But I had a couple people who said it's not working. So, which could be why, just so you know.
I thought you
That's
had a
why.
question about
No,
the
no, no,
calendar.
I'm just sitting here going like, do I stop them or do I let them just say the same thing again? So I don't know, I have no idea, but.
We'll hold tight. We're having some potential technical difficulties.
Do we know where they were accessing the link? Was it off?
I'm assuming it's their home.
Yeah,
Off
well, I know it was.
Off
I'm
the-
gonna look at the calendar.
the posting, yeah.
Just triple check.
Re-
that.
Rebecca made it in. You can ask her how she got in.
Yeah. That's true.
Could we ask our one visitor to let us know if you had any difficulties getting into the Zoom meeting?
Hi there. I clicked the link on the agenda that was on the Long Meadow Town website, and it worked for me.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
perfect.
Thanks,
you so
Rebecca.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're good with open meeting law.
Good,
So-
good, yeah, that's what I wanted
That's
to, it
what I
kind
was
of,
getting concerned about.
yeah, I'll just tell them, try it again.
And there, Steve.
I almost said if you're having difficulty getting to the meeting, go to that link, but of course they wouldn't hear me say that, so. So
True.
that wouldn't be.
But we said it.
The door is wide open.
Also, people can
Yep.
true.
Yeah, it's on the posted.
Yeah.
All right, we will go ahead and move forward then. Anything else for your report?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you. Assistant Superintendents, do you folks have anything tonight? No? All right. Student Representative report, welcome back, Dagan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Not much. One, kudos to Mrs. Barr, Miss LaJoy when I went through her class. Definitely well deserving. As Miss Allen Tuck did say, Valentine's Day was in full swing at LHS. We hadn't had singing Valentine's since my freshman year, so 2 years over COVID. I was very scared the program was going to die, but it's back. Accidentals and Swedish Fish going around the lunchroom. I believe it was like $2. You could sign up for one like 30-second song for your friend. You know, embarrass them a little bit in the lunchroom, make them stand up on the table and get sung to. It's just a great tradition. It's a great way to support the school and the music program as a whole. I talk so much about the music department. As you guys said, we do have the concert coming up tomorrow, not Thursday.
Tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
On Wednesday.
Confirmed.
Okay. And then just
Me nervous.
moving in from Valentine's Day, one of our clubs was working on a campaign against dating violence and relationship violence, and that was very, very important. There are flyers all around the high school. I believe there's one right through the hallway, right to your left, if you'd like to see one. And that, just bringing that awareness, there were teachers and students wearing buttons saying love shouldn't hurt, and that was very, very important, very impactful for our school community. And I will have more for you next week because we have our Student Faculty Advisory Council meeting this Friday, and that is all I have to report at this time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Other reports, LPVEC.
There's a meeting tomorrow, so no report at this time.
Wonderful. Energy and sustainability.
No report.
And SEAL. And we have an update there.
Yes, thank you, Nicole. I'm going to read from my phone. So the Special Education Alliance of Long Meadow is still cooking along. If folks can get engaged with that and you know, see how much they advocate, the resources, the connections that they can provide. And then speaking of connections, there's a SEAL meet and greet on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday, March 1st? I can't
Yes,
see that.
that would be March 1st.
So Wednesday, March 1st, it is, I'm just going to read the little invitation here. So there's a meet and greet. Please join us for a meet and greet with Superintendent Marty O'Shea and Interim Director of Special Education, Nicole Paris-Crowe, to take place on March 1st, 7 p.m. in room A15 in Central Office of School. Is that this room?
Yep.
A15.
Yep.
This meeting will also be available via Zoom for those who cannot attend in person. Please see the link to the meeting below. So this was sent out in an email. And thank you, Superintendent, for sending it to everybody. This is a great opportunity to get to know our special education leaders face-to-face and have a conversation about the special education program in Long Meadow. Any parent that would like to be added to the SEAL distribution list, please email SEAL. And then it's got seal@sealma.org. And I would also encourage you again to visit the website sealma.org. So thank you for that, Nicole. It should be awesome. I know Superintendent's going to be there. I'm going to be there. So get your party hats on and head on over.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. All right, moving into subcommittee reports. No report from finance and policy. I know curriculum is meeting tomorrow. And does evaluation sub have a report?
I do.
Okay.
I'm going to read my chicken scratch, but wanted to get this out, right, Jamie? So last night, the evaluation subcommittee of Mary Keene, Jamie Hench, and I met with the superintendent for his mid-year review regarding progress toward his professional practice and student learning goals in his 2022-2023 annual plan. In a color-coded document, green for significant progress, yellow for solid progress, red for developing progress, the superintendent provided evidence of action steps, deliverables, tools, practices, collaborations, and programs employed toward achieving the goals, including but not limited to those goals around the middle school building project, integration of the vision of the graduate competencies, multi-tiered systems of support, social emotional wellness, and equity and inclusion. While the majority of the progress is significant, Superintendent acknowledges that there's still much work to be done, and I just wanted to thank you, Superintendent, for offering us this information and the great overview, and for all your efforts.
A quick side note, there is in your meeting packet a sort of self-assessment of my progress towards my annual plan, and it's color-coded, and I included some annotations as well, just to give you some flavor for the conversation that we had at Evaluation Sub the other day.
All right. Wonderful, thank you. Moving ahead to ongoing business, our FY24 budget recommendation. I'll turn that back over to you.
All right, so I will, we've had a couple opportunities to present our recommendation, most recently at the public hearing last week. And so this is also we've also shared the slide deck with staff and parents, and we've posted budget documents to the district website. So we hope that the community's had sufficient opportunity to review the recommendation, and that the committee has had sufficient opportunity to have their questions answered so that they can make an informed decision. I'll just share a single slide from the slide deck, which is the summary slide showing the high-level summary of the FY24 budget recommendation. And I would say, a cautionary note, or maybe, an asterisk here, is that this is based on some very well thought out projections and a a clear understanding of the costs that we are anticipating, particularly in regard to our contractual obligations. I'd say that, as is the case every year when you develop a budget, long after the budget is voted and the entire breadth of the budget is set, we continue to make some decisions around allocations inside that budget with the approval of the school committee. And so, in the weeks, months ahead, we'll continue to study emerging needs, we'll continue to study enrollment patterns, we'll continue to identify exactly what the grant revenue will be. We'll continue to work with the town to understand whether or not they see this, the town sees this as a manageable request. And so as recently as today, I had an opportunity to talk to the town manager about this request, and she reiterated that, they're still pulling pieces together for the budget recommendation that she will make to the select board on March 6th, I believe it is. And so we're anticipating that the governor's budget will arrive on everyone's desk on either the last day of February or the first day of March. And so, this is, we're at an important stage where the committee has an opportunity to have a final discussion and ask any final questions about the FY24 budget recommendation, but there's still plenty of work in front of us. There's plenty of decisions in front of us in terms, to be sure that we're meeting student needs, to be sure that we're supporting staff in that effort. So appreciate all the work that Tom has done on this. Appreciate the time that we have had with the town finance director and the town manager and the school committee finance subcommittee, and appreciated the discussions and review that we've had over the last few weeks on this budget recommendation. So for your final opportunity for questions and discussion and a potential vote on the FY24 budget recommendation.
All right, we'll open for a motion and then possible discussion.
I move that the school committee approve the FY 2024 proposed school department budget in the amount of $41,943,037.83, with a general fund allocation of $38,896,745.76, and submit this amount to the town manager for inclusion at the annual town meeting on Tuesday, May 9th, 2023.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. I'm open for any discussion before we move to a vote. Questions, thoughts, last comments? Gianna?
Yeah, just real quickly, I just wanted to again say thank you to Tom and everybody in the finance subcommittee, just everybody that puts all these pieces together, because it's a ridiculously huge, puzzle accomplishment. And I also want to thank everybody that's going to help advocate for our school district budget. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Otherwise, reminders that you brought out that this is still a work in progress. There's still time for conversation, and I would just encourage anyone in the town or school community who has questions about the budget or commentary about the budget to reach out to Dr. O'Shea or any of our administrative staff or any of us here by email or in person. We love to hear from folks, so stop by with any questions. Any further discussion or questions? All right, seeing none, we will move to a vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes for me as well. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Next up.
We'll keep you posted on any feedback that we receive from the town manager's office, and look forward to the opportunity to sit down with the select board on March 6th.
And a quick note on that if we are expecting to go to, I know I will be there for March 6th, if anybody else is planning to go, to just reach out and let Daya know so we keep track of how many, so that if a quorum of us are there, we post appropriately. All right, moving on to new business. We have a visitor here to talk to us about a preliminary overnight field trip request. Welcome
So,
back.
I'll introduce a familiar face, Mr. Paul Dunkerley, formerly assistant principal at Long Meadow High School, but he's here tonight as one of the principal architects and great supporters of the exchange program that we have had with Takikawa High School in Japan. And for many, many years now, Paul has worked closely with Lori Snyder and others to nurture this relationship. And COVID interrupted it, like it did many, many things. But Paul and I and Lori are eager to reorient the committee and the community to this important relationship and to re-energize the partnership. And Paul is here to maybe give you a little brief history of that relationship, and then we can talk about a request for a preliminary approval of a April 24 trip by a delegation from Long Meadow to Takikawa. So, Paul Dunkerley, thanks for joining us once again.
Thanks, Marty. Nice to
Yeah.
see everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to come and present about this trip to everyone. So this exchange goes back a little bit more than 16 years between Long Meadow and Takikawa. We have a sister school in Takikawa. It's Takikawa West High School, which is remarkably like LHS. When you walk the halls of Takikawa West High School, there are obviously noted differences, but what I was struck by the very first time I went, which was a decade ago, a little bit more than that, was how much we are the same. And that's what these exchanges are all about, is to celebrate our differences, but even more so to understand one another and find the common ground that we move forward through. This is an effort that's always been about finding common ground between peoples and finding a way to move things forward, not only on your local stage, but in a much broader sense as well. So some interesting things or facts about Takikawa. It's located on the northernmost island of Hokkaido. Hokkaido and Massachusetts have had a relationship with one another for more than 100 years. There's actually something called the Massachusetts Hokkaido Association, which is based out of Boston and meets regularly. Prior to COVID, Lori Snyder, who runs the program from an LHS standpoint, was there on a pretty regular basis. I've had the opportunity to attend as well. Springfield and Takikawa are sister cities, and Long Meadow and Takikawa are sister cities as well. And this is a relationship that has been grown and nurtured over 16 years. And what makes this kind of magic is the interaction that occurs when kids get a chance to experience the culture of a faraway land, and it goes both ways. And it's not just that we sit in the hotel and we go out. Our kids stay with Japanese families, and those kids, when they come here, stay with Long Meadow families. And that's where the real difference occurs. Okay, a huge connection is made, and it can be, without trying to overstate it, it can be life-altering for people. We have all created friends, like I say, across the pond, with our friends in Takikawa. And so we're looking to get this restarted. We have a whole generation of kids at LHS who will never have the opportunity to go to Japan. The last group we took graduated a year ago. And that was, of course, as a result of the pandemic. We tend to go about every 3 years. And as we have worked this program, the numbers have grown. Last time we went, we took 25 students and 6 staff members. We try and maintain a ratio of about 1 to 5 on this trip. If any of you have moved through a big city, you know how challenging it is to move young people through a big city. But I want you to picture this. You're in the train station, and there are lines painted on the floor, and you have to line up in single file, because when the train pulls in on time, and it will pull in within 30 seconds of that time, you have about a half a minute to board. So you got to get everybody on immediately. So you need a lot of chaperones. Otherwise, you can't leave somebody behind. I don't know about any of you. I still don't read Japanese. Only Lori Snyder does, but she not only reads it, she speaks it and she understands it. And she's done a lot over the years to make sure that this relationship is one that is nothing short of amazing. So we are anticipating that we will have a delegation from Takikawa here this coming fall. We're not sure exactly what that's going to look like yet, whether it's going to be all of the junior ambassadors and the 2 long-term stay students and a long-term stay teacher, as we have had in the past. They're in the process of finding out how many people are interested. And we anticipate being able to go to Japan to visit Takikawa. And then after visiting there for about 4 days, can you imagine putting a teenager up in your house for 4 days, an American teenager? Oh my gosh. We tend to, our itinerary has been to go to Kyoto, which is the historical capital. There's something amazing about what you see and find there, and it's an education that you can't get anywhere else. And for those of you who understand a little bit of the history between the United States and Japan, Tokyo is a modern city because Tokyo was bombed to oblivion in World War II. Kyoto was largely untouched, so there are 1,000-year-old shrines and buildings that we get to enter and have kids experience that kind of history like nowhere else in the world. The last trip, for the first time, we were able to take them down south to Hiroshima and to help them learn and understand what that history was like. We think it's important. So that's a basic background of what's gone on. You can tell I'm pretty excited about it, to say the least. And I'm hoping that the committee will give us a preliminary approval so we can take a group back this coming April of 2024. Thank you. If you've got questions for me, happy to answer them.
Thank you for coming in to talk to us today. We'll open the floor to questions and/or commentary. Yes.
Thanks, Paul, for coming out. I don't have questions. I'm just going to add on to what you said. So my daughter was lucky enough to be in that last group who went to Takikawa when she was a freshman at LHS. And most of you know my daughter is adopted from South Korea. So it was really special for her to get to go on a trip to Asia with her classmates, with the chaperones, to stay in the homestay. And it really was a wonderful experience for her. And that's something that I'm very thankful for, that we were able to, she was able to take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. And it would mean a lot to me if we were able to approve this, because I think there are lots of kids who it would mean a lot to. And as you said, Paul, it's something that can change kids' lives. And I think it's a really special opportunity that we make available these cultural experiences for our kids, because they really are important and impactful. So thank you, and Lori, for making this possible, and I hope that we will support your efforts.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Yes, Jenna?
Just, again, not a question, but thank you to you and to Lori. And you heard me earlier say, you know, I just appreciate people who are celebrating diversity. And the read aloud that I'm using this week is "We are different, we are the same."
Mm-hmm.
And those were your words, you know, just here, just now. So I just want to say thank you for making this opportunity possible.
All right. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate the opportunity to hear more about this program. I remember hearing about it when my oldest was here at school, and I'm excited to hear that it's back in time maybe for my younger ones to be able to enjoy as well, or to hear about, and excited to see the exchange back in action again. It'll be nice to have students visiting again in the fall. It's wonderful.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, so in your packet is the details on the preliminary, for preliminary information on the field trip, April of '24. This really gives us the green light to go ahead with the planning and to work with the travel company to assist with all the logistics. And then at some point, when it's more refined, more detailed, we would come back to the committee for final approval of the trip to Japan in April of '24.
All right. Seeing no other questions, so we'll entertain a motion.
I move that the school committee approve the preliminary request to secure prices and make arrangements for students from Long Meadow High School to travel to Takikawa, Japan in April of 2024.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? We'll move to a roll call vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes, for me as well. All right, wonderful. Next up, under new business, we have some building use requests. There are two. Mr. Mazza, will you be walking us through those?
I will, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. There are two building use requests in your packet tonight. The first is from the Impressions Academy of Dance for use of the high school auditorium and some other spaces for a dance recital. Use is requested on June 8th and June 11th, as indicated on their request.
Questions related to either of these and/or motions?
I move that the school committee approve the building use request from Impressions Academy of Dance for the use of Long Meadow High School on June 8th and 11th, 2023, as indicated on the request form dated January 11th, 2023.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Nicole.
Yep.
Wait, when are graduations usually?
Early June, June 6th, 8th, something, 10th?
June 8th, to be precise. It's not like I'm counting anything.
So there wouldn't be any possible,
No,
Not that we use
the
them.
high school would have approved the dates.
got it, okay, thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, we will move to a vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes, for me as well. We have one more motion.
I move that the school committee approve the building use request from Ms. Saritha Rakasi for the use of Long Meadow High School on July 14th and 15th, 2023, as indicated on the request form dated January 19th, 2023.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes, for me as well. Thank you very much. That takes us through our new business, and we are headed towards an executive session. We'll entertain a motion. Correct.
I move that the school committee meet in executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 2, to conduct a strategy session in preparation with collective bargaining with Units A and F, and Purpose 7, consideration of release of executive session minutes of previous meetings to not reconvene into open session.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Seeing none. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes, for me as well. That concludes our meeting for this evening. Have a lovely evening, and we will see you again in a few weeks. Thank you.